Bonjour and bienvenue, French 1 and 2 students. I am just recording myself going over this course overview with you so you know what's expected of you in French this year. So first of all, of course, you have to watch this video and answer the questions at the end of this lesson in order to get credit for this assignment. So the first thing I want you to know is please contact me if you have any questions or concerns about this course. And I listed my office hours and phone numbers for you. If you are stuck on anything, if you need help, if you don't know what's going on, please contact me. So I would like for you to either write down this information or print it out so you always know where it is and you have it handy. Email or phone call, anything. I am happy to help you. So, what is this course about? Although you cannot expect to become fluent in French after just 1 or 2 years of taking it, you will learn basic vocabulary and phrases to help if you decide to travel. It's like learning language as a baby. We don't expect 2-year-olds to completely be able to express themselves and understand what adults are saying. And since French is the next most used language internationally after English, you will be able to understand much of what is going on in the world. Additional resources that you might need for this course. Of course, you are going to need internet access. That's a given. If for some reason your internet goes out, you need to be able to go to a library, to a friend's house, to a relative's house. You have to have internet access every day. You have to have access to an encyclopedia online, most likely people use, or you can use a hard copy. A paper in a notebook is a good idea, pencil or pen. Sometimes you're going to want to take notes on things. I know it sounds kind of outdated, but really, writing things down is the best way to learn them. Printer is optional if you want to print off some things in this course. So let's get on with it. Unit overviews. At the beginning of each unit, you will find an overview, what you will learn in that unit. Also included in the unit overviews are study guides for each quiz and test in the unit, and some units have important links for readings or resources you might need. You will need to answer 2 questions to get credit for completing each unit overview. So, in other words, at the beginning of each unit, you have to read and tell what that unit's about and see if you can access the links for the study guides. Live class assignments. To help you with the more difficult assignments and projects, I have scheduled a live class assignment throughout the units. As the time gets closer for each assignment, I will insert a link for you to either attend the live class session or to watch a recording of it. And if you watch the recording of it, you have to call me to discuss just a little bit for credit. So you will be required to complete one of the options. So you either come to the live virtual class online or watch the recording and call me. And you won't be able to do those projects in advance. You'll see more as we get towards those live class assignments. And if you have any questions, you just let me know. I'm happy to help. So my grading policy and weights. If you're concerned about any assignments, your grade, or your progress, please contact me as soon as possible. I do expect you to read and study the lessons and complete all the lessons, projects, quizzes, and tests in the order that they are due. So, just a note regarding blank questions or assignments. It is the school-wide policy of ICON to reassign blank essay and short answer questions within lessons, quizzes, and tests. Students submitting blank work will have these questions reassigned, and repeated blank work will result in assignments being locked and may result in parent-teacher conferences to resolve the issue. So, even if you have a really good grade on your assignment, from the multiple choice questions, you are required to finish essay or short answer questions, fill in the blanks, whatever, or I'll have to reassign. All right, plagiarism and online translators. Plagiarism, as you probably know, is essentially copying someone else's work and making it your own. You will need to write any research material in your own words. This does not just mean changing words in a sentence or paragraph around. You have to read and interpret the material into your own words and language. You must include citations anytime you look up or research information. Using a quote in your answer is not plagiarism. If you use quotation marks, you just keep it to 1 or 2 lines of text, and if you tell where the quote came from. Excuse me. And here's what's important. If an assignment is plagiarized, it will be a 0. And except for the first offense, and I'll ask you to redo your work in that case. Your parents will also be contacted and possibly ICON administration depending on the situation. So if you need help citing your sources, again, let me know and I'm happy to help you. A note about using an online translator is treated the same as plagiarism. Looking up a word or two is fine, just like using the dictionary, but translating entire phrases, sentences, and passages is not fine. If you need help with an assignment, you can go back to your lesson and look or ask me. Extra credit is available if you have no zeros, your work is on pace, and you would like to improve your grade. Please contact me if you would like to consider extra credit. Your regular lessons are going to be 25% of your unit grade. You have just 2 attempts to reach a score of at least 75%. After that, you need to take the grade you earned on the lesson. And there's more lessons in a unit, so although each lesson, the lessons taken all together are worth 25% of your grade. Projects are probably only going to be 1 or 2 per unit, so it is going to be worth more. All projects together are worth 25% of your unit grade, but since there's fewer of them, it counts for more. A blank project will be reassigned as a blank essay, just like we talked about. Quizzes will be 25% of your unit grade. You only have 1 opportunity to complete quizzes and tests, so make sure you're prepared before you open them. So quizzes, there's usually 2 or 3 per unit. So taken together, they will be 25% of your grade. Tests, there is only 1 unit test per unit. So that is 25% of your unit grade. You only have 1 opportunity to complete it. So make sure you're prepared before you open them. And reassigning quizzes and tests. So if you do poorly and you want to do the quiz or test again, alternate versions of quizzes and tests will be assigned if a student wishes to redo them for a better grade. This will be done at my discretion and most likely at the end of the unit. So, which brings me to study guides. There are study guides for every quiz and every test. And if you do the corrections that I recommend on the study guides and use the corrected study guides for your quizzes and tests, you should do well. So in all of my courses, study guides will be actual lessons to be turned in before working on each quiz or test. An incomplete study guide will be treated as a blank essay. So in other words, you can't leave it blank. Assignment reference numbers are given for quiz study guides. So in other words, there's the question and I put the assignment number that you can go back and find it in. Test study guides do not have assignment references, so then it's your responsibility to find the information in the assignments, as I will not give you the answers, and a study guide does count toward your grade. So if you're having a hard time finding certain answers, call me or attend a live office session for help. But it doesn't apply to the whole study guide. I'm happy to help you find a few answers, but you do need to do most of the work on your own. I will let you know which answers are incorrect on each study guide. You are expected to correct them and resubmit, since they're mostly actual questions from the quiz or test. So that is why you only get 1 opportunity for the quiz or test, because the study guides, I give you most of the questions that are going to be on there. So and after correcting, you may go on to the quiz or test. So be sure to work on other courses while you're waiting for a study guide to be graded. Waiting for corrections will ensure you do your best on the quiz or test. You also do have 2 chances to complete a study guide correctly. After that, you'll need to take whatever grade you receive on it. And I do expect you to use the study guide for correct answers as you take each quiz or test. That's what they're for. Now, how to study a language. This is really important. When learning a new language, we all have the tendency to want to translate things word for word. However, that doesn't work with a foreign language. Okay, you can do that when you learn just new individual vocabulary words, but sentences and phrases are entirely different. In French, sentences are in a different order, and a lot of times they're in a different order than in English. So, when reading and listening and trying to understand conversations in French, oopsie. Oh, my computer's going crazy. Hang on. All right. When listening and understanding conversations in French, listen for the overall idea of what is going on, okay? Instead of trying to translate things word for word. Because if you translate things word for word, it won't make sense, okay? So I want you to listen for the overall idea of what is going on and go from there. And I'm trying to get this computer to go back to what it's supposed to. It's very slow. Okay. If you translate things for word for word in French, from French to English, English to French, they sound really weird. Okay, so that's also how I'm going to know if you use an online translator, because things aren't translated word for word. And even Google Translate sounds funny a lot of times. If you put something in there and you translate it word for word, if you know how to read French, it doesn't come out right. So I'll know if you did use an online translator because of that. There we go. It says, I will also know if you used an online translator to write what you want to say in French. It looks and sounds totally absurd when you know how to read French, because when phrases are translated word for word, they sound strange and they may not make sense. Plus, I'll also know that you don't have that level of vocabulary yet, because usually when you put something into a translator, you use a higher level of vocabulary in English than you would in French. So the best thing to do is look at the examples of what is in your French lesson and then put your own words in from there. Okay, so the best way to complete an assignment to be written in French is use what you already know and copy, yes, copy the examples given in the assignments, but put in the information you need to provide. Read the rubric for a written assignment if one's included, because a grading rubric will let you know exactly what is required and will allow you to be successful the first time. Another important thing for French, listen to and practice the vocabulary aloud. In the last section of each lesson is vocabulary. You can click on each word and listen to how it's said in French, and I highly recommend that you repeat it because it gives your brain another way to remember the things that you've learned. Okay, so bonne chance means good luck in your course. And like I said before, if you need anything, please contact me. I am here to help. Thanks, and I will talk to you later. Bye.